Don't tell me in the comments I look like crap. I already know. I ran today. What did you do? You're sitting, watching me stand up, walk, and then watch me. Or stand up walking while watching. Well, no, don't do that because then you'll like run into something. Never mind. What you're doing is great, sweetie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It is another monthly reading wrap up. It is my April/May reading wrap up. I read one book in April and I figured I would just throw it in because it was such a good book and I need to talk about it. I'm just throwing in my random one book that I read in April, and then the rest will be my May reading wrap up because I read this month. I'll see you for the first book.
Hello, this is a little different. I'm in my car. I'm also filming on my phone, so excuse that. I just finished Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blouse. This is a story about a 14-year-old girl named Mary Jane, and over the summer she is going to be babysitting for this family. Mary Jane is from this conservative family, and then the family that she is babysitting for is very like free-flowing, and she just kind of experiences a lot more things and she learns things about herself. And this book is so good. It's so good. I was a little skeptical about it. I kind of picked it up just because I don't really know why. I just picked it up. The characters in this are so well developed. Their like situations and their problems and the self-discovery was just so beautifully told. It was so good. I loved all these characters. I felt like they were so well defined. It's just so good. It's so good. I was kind of debating if I was going to be giving this a 4.5 or a 5 stars because I just cannot stop thinking about this book. So I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars because I just absolutely love these characters. I love the relationships that were built in this. Mary Jane and her like discovery of who she is, even though she's like 14, but she's like finding out more things about life, and it's just so good. That is my first book done, and I will see y'all for my next book. Hopefully I read more because I'm in a reading slump. So see you then. It's May. This month we gotta get the ball rolling. The first book I've read in May is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is I feel like a very controversial book. Not like controversial, but like I feel like people either really love this book or they really just can't get with it. Basically, this book is like marketed as like a romance book, but it really shouldn't be. You're literally reading Gossip Girl. Like that's the vibes. It's really just a dramatic, toxic relationship, and you know what, it was just fun. It was just fun to read. I actually really enjoyed this book. Surprisingly, I think I did go in the mindset of knowing that it was a toxic relationship, not really thinking of this book as a romance book because it really isn't. I guess I kind of went in for more of like with the drama and stuff. I think Jessa Hastings' writing so beautiful. I felt like her metaphors about love and relationships were just so good. However, I did feel like a lot of the themes felt really repetitive to an extent. I was like, okay, like we get the point, sis. But it was just so good that I was just eating it up anyways. Like I felt like this was good, like just drama, like rich people drama, and it was just fun. And that's really it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. And so yeah, that is the first book that I've read, and I will see you for the next book. Hello. So I've been a little bad about this wrap up. I kind of keep forgetting how to YouTube, and so I am going to just sit down cozy style. Got my blanket, we're sitting in my bed telling stories. I'm gonna just kind of sit down and tell you all the books that I've read recently, the ones that I've read the rest of this month, because I actually read this month, which is great. So the first book I have for you is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. This is about a girl named Olivia. She's got some bad luck recently. Her boyfriend just broke up with her. She just lost her job, and her apartment got caught on fire. So she's got some bad luck right now. She moves in with her older brother and his roommate. One day she kind of gets like this wrong number, and she starts kind of having a relationship with this wrong number person. This is a new adult or adult, I don't know if it's technically new adult or adult book, but this is an adult book. I know Lynn Painter is really known for like young adult, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I really liked Colin and Olivia's banter. I felt like it was just really fun to read their conversations. I didn't love it. Sometimes I felt like Olivia
her like whole character like thing is that she just has bad luck, she can't get her crap together, like stuff like that. And then there's some moments where you're like, okay girl, you're like 27, 20 something, please get it together. But I was just like, the way that she would like talk sometimes, it made it feel like she was like 10 years old. But you know, that was just her character, I guess. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, and I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I would recommend reading it. It was just a fun book. I had a good time. The next book I read was The Inmate by Freida McFadden. This is about a girl named Brooke who has moved back to her hometown. She goes back down to like live in her like house, get a new start, and she starts to work at a penitentiary. Why can I not talk? A prison. She works at a prison. She works as the new prison nurse. But the thing is, her ex-boyfriend, you know, her ex-boyfriend that tried to kill her is at this prison. And you're like, oh, okay, girl, okay. And you kind of get different timelines. So you get the present timeline, and then you also go like however many years into the night where she was almost killed. The thing is, like, she's not like 100% sure that her ex-boyfriend is the one who tried to kill her. Like, she's kind of sure, but she's not too sure. Like, the premise of this book was really, really interesting, and it was really fun, and I liked it, but I did not love it. I feel like the thriller part was a little boring. Like, it really didn't ramp up until like the very, very end of the book. I did like the twist. It was good. I did enjoy it. But I hated our main character, Brooke. Oh my god, one of the dumbest main characters I've ever read about. Like, her decisions that she decided to do made absolutely no sense. One, why the hell would you work at a prison where your ex-boyfriend tried to kill you? Why would you work there thinking you would never see him, thinking it would be fine? Why would you do that? The psychological part of it's like, well, did he do it? Did he not do it? It was just a little stupid. I felt like, because like, she just felt really dumb. Like, she was just really stupid. I'm like, girl, you really don't remember who tried to kill you? Like, that's not like a lasting impression. Like, how do you not know? She felt like a main character from like a horror movie that would literally die instantly because she just she opened the door for the killer. Like, that's literally what she did. Like, she's just so stupid. But the thriller as a whole, like, I did enjoy it. It sounded like I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It just wasn't my favorite thriller. So I give it 3.5 stars. It was okay. The next book I read was Billy Summers by Stephen King. This book is about an assassin, and this is about his last job as an assassin because he wants to retire. The thing is, it's going wrong. And this is the first Stephen King book I've ever read. I've always been a little hesitant reading him because I don't love horror, and this isn't horror. This is considered to be crime fiction. I think I would just generalize this as general fiction. This book, if you saw my reading slump video, I talk about this book, and this book took me so long to finish. Not because, I mean, it's a pretty thick book. It's like 500 and something pages. Not because it's a thick book. It's just because the beginning of the story is incredibly slow. I don't know what happened in this book, but the first 200 pages of this book are incredibly slow, incredibly boring, and then a character gets introduced into the story about halfway through, and then finally it just takes off from there. It's so much better. I feel like pacing wise it got a lot better. I felt like the story progression finally got somewhere. You don't need to read 200 pages of a book to finally get somewhere where it's interesting. That's the biggest complaint I have about this book. Once this one character gets introduced, the whole rest of the 50% of this book is so good. I would literally give the rest of the book like 5 stars, but the beginning of this book is easily like 1.5. It's so boring. So to kind of even it out, I ended up giving this book 3 stars. The last book I have right now, I literally finished this last night, so I can actually testify to this book, but I finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So this book is always so hard. I can never remember the freaking title to this book. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Yes, I was correct. By Carissa Broadbent. This is about a girl named Araya who is a human in like this vampire kingdom, and the king of the House of Night had kind of picked her up and, you know, was like trying to like picked her up from like the human district and basically made her his daughter. Just cause. The main plot of this is there's this thing called the Kajari, which is a tournament, kind of like the Hunger Games a little bit. It's like this tournament where the winner gets to have a wish made by the Nixia, the goddess Nixia, I think that's her name. This book was unfathomably amazing. I have not read a fantasy book though in a really, really long time, and I guess I never realized how much I was craving a fantasy book until I was reading this. It gave so much. It gave exactly what I wanted it to give. Like, this is one of my favorite fantasy books right now. Like, I'm literally obsessed with it, which is such a shocking thing because I haven't had a fantasy book where I was obsessed with for a while. I gave this book 5 stars. I am obsessed with this book. I love Oriah. I love Rain. I love the whole like world this world building is just so fun. I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so good. It's the same day. I told you I was gonna finish this book, and I did. So I just finished 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is a novella in the Serpent and the Wings of the Night series duology thing. It's a novella. I don't know. Okay. Like, this novella isn't based off of the main characters in this series. It's based off of this girl named Lilith, and her town has been kind of is being punished by their god because of something her father did. And so their like town has been like, there's been kind of plagued with sickness. Like, so Lilith is trying to save the town, and she is trying to come up with a cure medicine to help with the plague, and she thinks that vampire blood will help kind of cure this disease. She meets the vampire Val to acquire some blood, and in exchange for the blood she gives him a rose. I actually really enjoyed this story for it being a novella. I feel like novellas are either pretty good, they just add a little whoosh, a little something to a world. And so novellas, not necessarily to me, I think are like really good, but I really enjoyed this story. I was pretty hooked from like the beginning, and it's pretty short. It's only 170-ish pages, I think. I actually gave this novella 4 stars. It was a hit. I enjoyed it a lot. I really like this author's writing. It flows very easily, and I really like it. That is what I've read so far. I'm not sure if I'll read any more, but if I do, I will see you in the next book. I know I look like poo-poo right now. Please don't say nothing. I know I'm sweaty, I'm nasty, I'm gross. No. I read Galatea by Madeline Miller. So this book is about Galatea. It is a retelling of her story. And if you don't know, like if you're not into Greek mythology, you will be confused if you are not into Greek mythology or if you are not familiar with her story. I don't want to like give you a Greek mythology lesson, but I'm gonna. So the Galatea story is about how this guy has been longing for a wife, and so he makes a sculpture of what he thinks is the most beautiful woman out of clay or out of stone. That's the one it is. She's made out of stone, and he prays to Aphrodite to like make this woman like real. I think it's Aphrodite. It's either Aphrodite or Hera. Maybe it's Hera because she's like the goddess of marriage. I don't remember which one. But he like prays to a goddess, and she grants the wish and makes his sculpture come to life, and now that sculpture is his wife. So the retelling is in her perspective, and it's only, like I said, 20 pages, but it's just so good for 20 pages. I'm not well versed in short stories, but this was so good. I ate it up. I was like Galatea, run girl, run. Yes. I was like, it was just so good. Honestly, you really need to read it. Even if you're really not, like, I already told you the retelling, so now you're familiar. Literally said, I was like, it's such a talent that she can express so many emotions and make these characters have so much depth in 20 pages. I also heard that Madeline Miller is coming out with like a Shakespearean novel in like 2024. That's like a rumor, I think. I am so excited. I've been craving another one of her books. I am sad it's not a Greek retelling, but I do like some Shakespeare, so we will see. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you in my next video.